I've known Steve's background, and obviously, and I said that they'd asked if I'd come visit them. And so in the middle of May, I came to campus, and we just discussed a little bit of everything. To be honest with you, them. And so in the middle of May, I came.
In the past, right, or still do?
For a long time, and I did stop that for obvious reasons. But
talk about that with Coach O about the possibility of maybe you joining the staff in the future.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's during that conversation. You know, we're so focused on the now as they should be, and I know they've got bigger things to worry about. But the constant talk was, well, if it doesn't work, then maybe down the road. But you know, I think we were focused right now in 2018, so I really have no idea. Well, yeah, I mean, it's during that conversation, you know, we're so focused on the now as they should be, and I know they've got bigger things to worry about. But
did you all talk about that with Coach O about the possibility of maybe you joining the staff in the future?
One kid, the people are recruiting, and you got that. But I think everybody did the right thing, and unfortunately the timing was off. But maybe down the road it won't be.
What? Just for context, and Sean Salisbury is like.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's during that conversation, you know, we're so focused on the now as they should be, and I know they've got bigger things to worry about. But the constant talk was, well, if it doesn't work, then maybe down the road. But you know, I think we were focused right now in 2018, so I really have no idea. And the truth is, I was so if there's somebody who's a Power 5 Division I kid, the people are recruiting, then you've got to be, and you want to be a coach, then you've got to be very, very cognizant of that. But I think everybody did the right thing, and unfortunately the timing was off, but maybe down the road it won't be.
Unfiltered, go give him a follow. Just for context, what is your relationship and your history with Coach O, which I'm guessing goes back to USC days?
You know what? It's just, I think there's my respect, and I've always loved him. And when he was at SC doing, you know, he wasn't there when I was there, but I've known him through, you know, we know a million of the same people, and we've, you know, run into each other on the field when he was at SC and during the travel. But we have never, and I've interviewed him on the air before, but we had never sat down until that time and talked for more than 5 minutes of football in our lives. So that was the first time that had ever happened. And you know, both sides do your due diligence. You do your due diligence on what a staff looks like and what a university and where you want to be a part of, and they do their due diligence if it's somebody they believe can help them. And I know a lot of guys, you know, on that staff. Jerry Sullivan was my wide receiver coach when I was in San Diego, and I think he's as good as there is in America. That staff's loaded with great coaches. And Coach O, I've always believed this: you hire coaches that you expect to, you empower them and let them do their job. And Coach O's always done that. They've got an unbelievable staff there, and it would have been great to be a part of it. I would have loved it, but that's basically our relationship. Through the media and sports and football and UFC, you become almost affiliated, even if you haven't sat down and spent a lot of time talking. But that's the first time we've had an extended conversation, other than an interview on the air about football. And I think there's a mutual respect for the way we go about our business. But I hold him in tremendously high regard, and always have. It sucked for my UFC Trojans to lose him in the past, but it also one school's loss is another school's gain. Not only is he a great man who knows football, he knows how to recruit, and his energy is. I wanted to jump up and start coaching in the middle. I wanted to go get up and start.
Is intrigued. That's probably this massive understatement to see what this offense is going to look like with Steve Ensminger and whoever plays quarterback. All right, so you talked ball with Steve, concepts and things like that. What are your impressions of what it's going to look like this fall for LSU?
I think that the key here is a lot of no.
Did they tell you who was going to be the starting quarterback?
No.
Thank me for asking, though, right, Sean?
Heck no, I'm with you. I think that I know the fall he's going to start because he earned it.
He's Sean Salisbury's on Twitter.
Get updates on LSU football, the Houston Texans, New Orleans Saints, Dallas Cowboys, and more right to your phone. Plus, you can stream the station with one tap in the palm of your hand. Live high school football, Colin Coward, Tim Fletcher, Jacob Hester, and much more, all with the free 1130 The Tiger mobile app. Download it now in your Google Play Store or iTunes Store. Get the power of the Tiger on your phone. Details are online at 1130thetiger.com.
You don't have to sacrifice style to have a floor that's 100% waterproof for life. Because the Home Depot has Pergo Outlast Plus laminate starting at just $279.
Moscow Ballet's Great Russian Nutcracker dazzles Shreveport this Christmas season. Take the whole family together for the original holiday tradition. Experience the magic of the internationally acclaimed Moscow Ballet, enchanting audiences on the wings of the Dove of Peace. It wouldn't be Christmas without Moscow Ballet's Great Russian Nutcracker. Get tickets now at nutcracker.com. Appearing at the Strand Theater November 10th.
1130 The Tiger, your home for LSU sports, powered by Jack Spring Electric.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
The thrill of victory. KWKH AM Shreveport Bossier.
Hey, you're going to want to listen to this?
The home of LSU sports is 1130 The Tiger. WKH AM, Shreveport Bossier. The home of LSU sports is 1130 The Tiger.
It's a fun game.
Good afternoon. It's the Patrick Netherton Show.
Voice of the Demons, right?
Yes.
Touchdown, Demons!
Brined, marinated, or dry rubbed. It's sports the way you like it.
Sports Center Top 10 right there!
Talking to the biggest names. Bringing you the best interviews.
He actually smokes his beans.
The cooler is full and the brisket is resting.
Just a nice little pull and it comes right apart. That's perfect.
Here's your master of ceremonies, the Kansas City Barbecue Society certified expert.
Throw the fade, looking for Ferguson. Got it!
Patrick Netherton.
13-yard touchdown. Demons are back in it.
I just like listening to her sing a little bit. Good afternoon, everyone. It is the Patrick Netherton Show. I am the aforementioned Patrick Netherton. We are pleased to have you with us. I am back in the studio. Thank you, Phil Collins, the Stu Studio. Is that a Ben and JJ thing? I think they do that. I hate sometimes that I like riff on other people's stuff, and I don't feel like I want to do that. So
I think that is one of the kind of go-tos.
I think Ben is a Stu
Studio
guy.
They definitely are exclusive on the number player kind of thing. I don't have enough time for that.
I got nothing for that.
I got nothing for that. So if you want a Stu Studio, that's okay with me.
Yeah, I'm
glad you're back in the Stu Studio.
Yeah, I'm kind of happy to be back. I'm sorry you have to look at me now.
Well, I kind of gotten used to it after the last 25 years.
Yes. For those that don't know, and by the way, that's the dulcet tones of Rogers Hampton. You can play your theme music, Rog?
Switched on me again, my little button bar. Here we go.
Play that theme music.
Hey, boy.
There you go. There you go. He is the king of the Lollipop Guild, and I will absolutely cop to the fact that I stole that straight from Tim Brando.
Oh, yeah. Who ripped it off straight from The Wizard of Oz.
Well, sure.
So it's a rip-off, a rip-off, a rip-off.
Sure. It's all nice. We're all
good. And believe me, it's all good. Anybody that knows me that don't know the history of that, I don't get upset because it's a Munchkin short song. I'm short. I get it. I've been this height since 6th grade at Judson Elementary.
Really? Did you stop growing in 6th grade?
I was one of the taller ones in 6th grade, and then after that, I stayed the same.
Is that when you stopped at 6th?
Yeah.
Really?
6th grade at Judson is when the height thing kind of quit, and then of course the bulk and the stockiness came as I got older. But yeah, in 6th grade, I was still one of the shorter ones, but it wasn't like everybody was taller than me then, except for those one or two girls that had already ballooned up at 11 and they were 6'1". But no, yeah, I was one of those. All right, man, maybe I'm gonna be the tallest Hampton yet.
Well, were you?
No, Dad was like 5'7", 5'8".
Oh, was he? Okay.
I'm about 5'6", 5'7" on good days, so he was an inch or two taller.
He got you by just a little bit.
He did. He got all the Hampton.
He got all the athleticism. He got all the looks, he got everything.
And back at Fair Park, you know how it's what do they call it? Best looking, or back then at Fair Park, he won he-male.
He-male?
He-male. Best looking he-male. Yeah, it was very. So not only was he their best athlete, he was their best looking student. It just, oh man. And all the other Hamptons, well, we had to kind of divvy up what was left.
I'm working off of. I'm stuck on he-male.
It was he-male beauty. He won he-male beauty of Fair Park High.
I'm okay. I'm kind of stuck on this. He-male beauty.
Yes, I know the yearbook is somewhere. He had all his yearbooks, and I remember him showing me the picture. He had on this nice suit and tie, and he had the kind of like James Caan look with that face and the little short curly, comb back hair. But he-male beauty of Fair Park High.
Well, that's.
I used to know the she-male beauty, but I can't remember the lady's name.
Now she-male beauty sounds worse than he-male beauty. Actually, if we're going to be honest here, if we're going to talk about honesty,
it was probably a she-her.
Beauty. That seems. That seems a little bit weird.
Yeah, I just thought for back in the 50s, Email Beauty, why don't want it just best looking and best looking?
By the way, Raj, do we have a breaking news sounder?
You know what? If you'll give me a chance to go
I'll
back
give you a second. Normally, in the first segment, I like to just kind of, BS. And
I'm going to copy and paste it, so just give me a second.
You go right ahead.
I'll go back and put it on your page. That way it will always...
You go ahead, but we do have breaking news, Raj.
All right, here we go.
So when you get to it, we will get to it. Hit the breaking news. Per Tom Pelissero, a reporter for the NFL Network, new Saints wide receiver Dez Bryant was helped off the field at Saints practice today after suffering what the team fears may be a torn Achilles tendon. Getting an MRI right now. Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero from NFL Network both reporting that. So all that talk about Dez Bryant and the $600,000 contract and being the opposite side of Michael Thomas, and there was talk that he might be inactive today. They weren't sure. They just we didn't know that he'd be declared inactive for the game. So breaking news: Dez Bryant helped off the field today with what the team fears may be a torn Achilles. And honestly, at his age, what is he, 30 now? At his age, that's
career-ending stuff.
That is maybe the end of your career.
Wow, what a rise and fall in a 24-hour period for Who Dat Nation.
That's pretty wild. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I had a whole bit ready to go talking about Dez Bryant.
For those who didn't want Dez on the team, well, you got your prayers answered pretty quickly.
Well, here's the problem. Cam Meredith is going on the IR.
Yes, Ted Ginn
is on the IR. He's not going to be back for a few weeks. And now you've got Dez Bryant going to the ER. He was going to the IR.
Brandon Marshall, please pick up.
Yeah.
Brandon Marshall.
Well, Brandon Marshall was one of the guys that tried out this past week.
Yes.
He was in that group of receivers who was trying out with Dez Bryant.
And I bet you he'll be getting a call.
He might.
Because if this is true and this is real, or even if it's just a small strain, that means you're out for weeks.
I mean, you already
camp, OTAs, all that.
You already probably weren't going to play this week.
It was very iffy.
You probably weren't going to see the field this week, and if you did, it was going to be in very limited action.
Yeah.
Raj and I had lunch today, and I actually joked during lunch that, I kind of laughed about, and we talked a lot the last couple of days about we don't know Dez Bryant's football intellect. We don't understand his football IQ. We don't know how easily he would be able to get the play calls. And so I joked a little bit with Raj and said, this is a scenario where Drew Brees comes in the huddle and there's 9 guys in the huddle plus Drew plus Dez Bryant. And Drew looks at the 9 guys and he goes, all right, scat right, wing right, 487, X cross, Y hook, Z lateral, check 1497, X cross, Y lateral, Z back on 2. And then he looks at Dez Bryant and he goes, Dez, post route.
Hello, here to tell us how to better live our lives is Mr. Know-It-All.
And that's, that was what was going to happen. Drew was going to be like, everybody else, here's your 47-word play call because you all know the offense. Dez, run a hook. That's all you have to do. Dez, run a 10-yard out. Run a crosser. Give me a 15-yard dig pattern. Whatever you need. That's all I need from you, Dez. Well, now you may not even have to worry about it. So, boy, that is some insane breaking news. Just as the show was getting started today, we learn about the potential Achilles tendon perhaps being torn for Dez Bryant, and he's getting an MRI right now. The Saints signed him to a $600,000 deal for the rest of the season. I'm curious if that's guaranteed or not. I have a feeling it probably is. A guy of his stature
that was looking for way more.
Right, but I'm sure that there was probably an agreement that, look, if you're going to bring him in, you're going to have to make sure he gets paid. Well, and honestly, the good news for Dez is that he hurt his Achilles while a member of the Saints, so he falls under their health care providing. They can go through and make sure that he gets all the rehab he goes through. So it's going to be incumbent upon the Saints to make sure that he gets healthy again. Not that the state of healthcare would make any difference in this regard. He's got plenty of money for Dez, but it is going to be a little bit different. So, man, a pretty wild start to the Saints' career of Dez Bryant, which may have ended before it began, which means Dez Bryant becomes... Is he the shortest tenured Saint of all time?
Maybe, and Mike Triplett says the Saints officially have listed Dez Bryant as limited with an ankle injury as they wait for confirmation of the severity of this injury. And then here's another stat for you from AllSaintsConsider.com. Saints haven't had much luck this year with wide receivers. Brandon Coleman released because of lingering injury problems.
Right, and the fact that he just never really did anything.
Yes. Trayvon Durrell, IR. Ted Ginn, IR. Cam Meredith, IR. Tommy Lee Lewis, IR. Dez Bryant, now a possible Achilles tear and IR. That has been some bad luck with that group.
Can we get the voodoo priestess to go and lay hands on Michael Thomas?
Something, man.
Just lay hands on Michael Thomas, please, because if he goes down, the Saints are toast at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so go if you can. Go lay hands on Michael Thomas and try to save at least something for the New Orleans Saints.
Wow,
I realize now
we talked about at lunch and what we were going to do today. Right off the bat, you get the old radio gods going, up there.
Well, the good news is I do have other things to discuss.
Yeah, we have 2 hours.
Yeah, we have other things to talk about, but boy, that is a heck of a way to start a show. Even before I got the phone numbers and the text line and everything else out, we get Dez Bryant injured and potentially done for before he ever began, which would make him not even a one-day Saint, because he showed up yesterday for the first time to practice. So he practiced yesterday, and then he was going to go today, and then injured himself today, and now next thing you know, Dez Bryant is done. So,
well, some good news to help up for Saints fans. All the offensive line practiced fully today and expected to play Sunday versus
well, that
the Bengals. We kind of said, hey, giving them a day off.
Most of the line, with the exception of Ramchick, he was new, but everyone else had been on the injury report for most of the year.
Been dinged up somehow or another.
And here's the other thing. Remember how the NFL does its injury reporting. Anything that is considered any sort of injury, you are listed on the injury report. Even if it's something that you know you'll play through, you don't have a problem with, it's going to put you on the injury report. Now, Sean Payton is smart enough to understand, hey, I need to get these guys some time. This offensive line, and especially after facing the Rams last week, I mean, that's a good defensive line they were facing with Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald and the new guy they got, Fowler, that they got. I mean, this is a tremendous defensive line they face. So no surprise that they would take a little time and back off a little bit, allow them to get some rest. That's exactly what they were looking for. So not a surprise there, and that offensive line, arguably the best offensive line in all of the NFL. We'll talk about Saints and Bengals coming up here in just a bit. We'll get to that. And we will talk about LSU and Arkansas. That takes me into the guest list for today. Very excited to start a new segment, Raj, every Friday. My main man, Roy Lang, the sports editor of the Shreveport Times, is going to stop by. I don't think physically stop by. Just
Oh man, I'm looking forward to maybe seeing him.
Maybe he will stop in. I don't know. I don't know where he'll go. I don't know. He might be on his way to Arkansas right now. He will be coming in. He'll give us his Lang's Locks of the week.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
He and I are going to go back and forth a little bit on the betting lines, the over-unders, that kind of thing. I will give you the caveat right now. I probably am the world's worst at picking games. I know enough to be really dangerous to myself as a picker. I have friends who illegally gamble on sports, and sometimes they'll hit me up like, hey man, what do you think, give me some games or whatever. And I tell them up front, I'm like, I will give you what I look like, what I see and what I think, but understand that I'm really terrible at this. And in the I've probably done this for a whole season, maybe 3 or 4 times, and I've never finished over 500. All right, so just know what you're getting. Now, Roy is much more knowledgeable than I am. He will have some. He'll have some really good takes. So what I would suggest you do is, and by the way, it'll be at the top of the hour, top at the 4 o'clock hour. Roy will join us. If you take his picks and you again legally bet. I don't want to encourage illegal gambling. If you want to bet legally, then take his picks and bet the opposite way of mine, chances are you're probably going to have a great week every week. Take his picks and then bet against mine, and chances are you're probably going to have a great week. We will pick, and again, there's no parameters to this. When he and I were discussing, he said, NFL, college, whatever. I said, look, whatever you like, you do. If it's spread, if it's over-under, if it's, and it can be NFL, college, a combination of the two, whatever makes you happy, that's what you do. So feel free to pick whatever games you want to pick, and he said that's fine. And then we're both going to pick every week the Saints, the Cowboys, and LSU. Those will be givens. We're going to pick those games regardless. But everything else is a crapshoot. Whatever he likes, whatever numbers jump out at him, he is able to pick, and I'll do the same. It'll be somewhere. It's not going to be a set number of picks. It'll be somewhere, 4, 5, 6, 7, something like that. Just whatever feels good to us. So I've got my picks ready to go. Roy will give us his as well, and we hope you'll enjoy that Lang's Locks segment that'll come up at the top of the hour. And then how about this, Raj? I want to say arguably the best get of the week, and granted I've only been on the air for 4 days, but Razorback quarterback legend Clint Sterner is going to join us to break down the LSU-Arkansas game. I know, isn't that I'm pretty excited about that, to be honest with you.
I'm pretty pumped about that, too.
Clint Sterner, who, of course, led the Razorbacks to their first Cotton Bowl victory since the 70s. Unfortunately, most people remember him for the fumble against Tennessee. Most people don't remember him for coming back the next year and beating Tennessee, who at that time was in the top 5. So he gets a little unfair rap about that. Clint has been doing a lot of analysis work. He worked for SEC Network for a little bit, and he also has his own QB academy. So we'll talk about how he's now working with the younger generation of quarterbacks, and we'll get his thoughts on LSU Arkansas. So pretty excited to have Clint Sterner, former Razorback quarterbacking legend, joining us. So you want to call the show, 318-320-1130, 320-1130. If you want to text the show, 318-657-657-0HAM, 657-0426. 657-0426 is the text line. Give us a shout. We're going to come back and talk Saints-Bengals a little bit. Preview that game for you, and again, we'll react a little bit more. If you want to get your reactions into the breaking news, Des Bryant feared to have suffered an Achilles injury, which would end his season and might end his career. That's a severe injury. Take a break. Come back with more of the Patrick Netherton Show on 1130 The Tiger.
Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry?
You can bank with 15, 20, 30, 40 different banks to choose from in Shreveport, Bossier alone, maybe even more than that. But how about investing in a bank that invests in the community? Putting your money into the bank that's in the community. That's what you're doing when you make Gibbsland Bank and Trust your great banking team. That's right, they do so much in this community, so many different ways, and you are a part of it when you join up with Gibbsland Bank and Trust, the great banking team.
It takes both vision and skill to create a pool as unique as it is beautiful. A perfect blend of time-honored craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology. The hand, heart, and mind working in perfect sync to create something truly special. A source of timeless relaxation, priceless memories, and endless joy. That is the mission of a master pool builder, and that is the magic of Moorhead Pools.
It's Macy's Veterans Day sale. Use your Macy's card or savings pass and get an extra 10 to 20% off. Take 30% off boots and booties at our great coat and boot sale. Save 40 to 80% during the men's event. And save 20 to 65% with our lowest prices of the season on furniture and mattresses. Now through November 11th at Macy's. Savings off sale prices, exclusions apply. Macy's Star Rewards members can earn towards Star Money. Ask your store associate or visit Macys.com/StarMoney for details.
Yo, we driving. We living our best life and my car smells fresh. But we weren't always thriving, it was you, girl.
Told you so.
Who pointed out that smell? Right. Now it's all fun, the odor's gone. Febreze car works so well. Come on, keep driving, let's go.
Oh boy, your car smells
Febreze
nice.
car, yeah, let's go. That's right. No more odors in my ride, now let's go.
Oh yeah, we made it so nice.
Febreze car, keep riding, let's go. And now the world can say,
Breathe happy.
we talk Chevy Land and the beautiful new cars, trucks, and SUVs out there, and for good reason. I mean, my gosh, have you seen the Silverado? Have you seen that Camaro? I feel like we've neglected the service department. Here's what Christy J had to say. My service rep, Kenny, was very friendly and understanding, kept in touch with me, letting me know the status of my vehicle. He's knowledgeable of his job. I will recommend him to all my family and friends. He's excellent. John B. in Bossier said the service professionals did a great job. Great service at Chevyland. You know it by the feeling. 7500 Uri Drive. Nicole joins us from First Choice Personnel. 797-7810. Make First Choice your last call. Hey, you know what? You guys have some pretty cool job openings over there. As always, what's high on your priority list right now, Nicole?
We have administrative, we have clerical positions, especially right now coming up during the holidays. We can have people come in and do temporary positions. We can do permanent positions. So they can give us a call anytime.
Permanent, that's my freckles. Temporary, it's how I like my tattoos. First Choice Personnel. 797-7810.
Moscow Ballet's Great Russian Nutcracker dazzles Shreveport this Christmas season. Take the whole family together for the original holiday tradition. Experience the magic of the internationally acclaimed Moscow Ballet, enchanting audiences on the wings of the Dove of Peace. It wouldn't be Christmas without Moscow Ballet's Great Russian Nutcracker. Get tickets now at nutcracker.com. Appearing at the Strand Theater November 10th.
Welcome to Walk-On's Bistro and Bar, where every dish starts from scratch. Fresh ingredients bring our food to life. Mouth-watering cuisine, unique flavors, and we're always more than happy to share our Southern charm and culture. A love of life, family, food, friends, fun, sports, and celebrations. Walk-Ons. It's game day with the taste of Louisiana.
Floating through the airwaves like smooth hickory smoke. Patrick Netherton. 1130 The Tiger.
I'm alright. Nobody but about me. Why you got to give me a fight? Can't you just let it be?
Little Caddyshack. Man, you know, this always reminds me, Raj. Was there a movie in the 1980s that Kenny Loggins didn't do something on the soundtrack for?
I'm sure there was, but I couldn't tell you the name of it right off the bat.
That guy was the most prolific movie score guy there was.
I mean, Footloose,
in the 80s.
Caddyshack, Top Gun.
Yeah.
Just right there, the trifecta there.
I mean,
is he going to do the music for the new Top Gun?
I don't know.
He better.
That's an interesting question.
At least one.
I'm just thinking about it. Was, you know, the whole, you know, there's the whole Tom Cruise runs in every movie he's in. You know that there's that whole thing where Tom Cruise runs in every movie he's in. When did he run in Top Gun? I'm trying to think. I don't recall him running during Top Gun. Well, I mean, he rode his motorcycle, and I don't know, do they, because there's always a scene in every Tom Cruise movie where he's literally just running. And sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. But I don't remember him running during Top Gun. Maybe if you remember, feel free to shoot me a note and let me know, because I sure as heck don't remember. It is the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger. We welcome you back in. Happy to have you with us. Unfortunately, some bad news for the New Orleans Saints, as Dez Bryant is now out with, or at least listed as limited right now, with a foot injury or an ankle injury. They're fearing that it is an actual Achilles tear, in which case his season would be over, and heck, more than likely his career would be over at that point. That is an incredibly hard injury to rehab from. So you just kind of wonder if that's something that would happen. Had a couple of texts to get to. Again, if you want to text the show, 318-657-0HAM, 657-0426. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll talk to Roy Lang, who will have Lang's Locks, where he will try to make you money, and I will try to lose you money unless you go opposite me. That's basically how this is going to work. Roy and I are going to, at least for the probably through the end of bowl season, maybe even all the way through the end of the Super Bowl, he and I are going to get after it and see who ends up with the best record at the end of the season. Again, we're going to pick the 3 games that matter most here. We're going to always pick the Saints, the Cowboys, and the LSU game, and then everything else is dealer's choice, as it were. Captain Insano texts in and said, is Jeremy Maclin still on a team? Maclin does not have any stats this year. He was on the Baltimore Ravens last season, but has not posted a single stat this year, so I'm guessing he is not on a team as of right now. Also, we got a text from High Rail who said, if it wasn't for bad luck, we wouldn't have any luck at all. Parentheses, Saints. You know, I used to think that, High Rail, that
Except
was
for those 7 wins in a row and you're 7-1. Yeah, that's not that really bad luck.
Well, that's the thing. It's up until about 2004, you certainly could say that, because you always had the expectation of how would the Saints find a way to blow this? How would the Saints find a way to lose this game? That was definitely the case up until Drew Brees showed up in 2005, and then things changed. Now, there was still, look, they still had some 7-9 and 8-8 years. The defense had been was terrible so many different years, and it seems like finally that's kind of all changed now. You've got Dennis Allen, who right now has the #1 rush defense in the NFL. The pass defense looks like it's getting a little bit better as it goes along. They signed Eli Apple, which, he seems to be getting more comfortable. He's that opposite corner with Marshawn Lattimore. And now it makes P.J. Williams a little bit tougher to pick on, because he's on your 3rd best receiver, or 2nd best receiver. He and Apple kind of switch back and forth, but he's not on your main guy, so you can't really pick on him as much. So, it's a little bit better. I was looking at Saints Bengals. So again, after 2005, and as Raj mentioned, you've now won 7 in a row. You had the Panthers get absolutely jackhammered last night by the Steelers, which means if you win this game against Cincinnati, the Saints are going to be 2 games up in the division with 7 games left to play. Now, granted, they still have to play Atlanta again. They still have to play Tampa again, and one of those is Atlanta's at Atlanta, correct? Tampa is at Tampa, or is Atlanta at home? Atlanta's at home.
Thanksgiving night.
Yeah, Atlanta's at home. Tampa is on the road, and Carolina you have to play them twice. So you've got a scenario whereby there's an opportunity for the Saints to really put a stranglehold on things, because if you get 2 games up at this point in time, if you get 2 games up now, then even if you lose twice to the Panthers, chances are Carolina's going to lose again somewhere along the way. So you've got a little cushion if you find a way to win this game. The #1 thing that concerns me about the Saints, and we'll take your calls obviously at 320-1130, or you want to text us at 657-0426, 657-0-HAM. The thing that would concern me the most about the Saints game at Cincinnati is weather. And here's what's weird. Yes. Raj, this is what kills. This is the weirdest thing to me about Drew Brees.
Okay.
He grew up in Texas.
Yeah.
He has spent his entire NFL career either in San Diego or inside.
Understood.
And yet, he appears to really hate cold weather, right? He appears to really not like the elements.
Yeah.
And yet he went to Purdue.
I'm following you.
So, for a guy and he has a reputation, deserved or not, he has a reputation as a guy who doesn't like to play in the elements. He doesn't like the cold. He doesn't like snow. He doesn't like wind. He grew up in Texas. There wasn't a lot of that. He went to San Diego. There's none of that in San Diego. And then, he spent the rest of his career inside in the Superdome. And yet the kid spent 4 years at Purdue. This is this kind of, and I understand when you're coming out of high school, the offers are the offers, and he wanted to go and run Joe Tiller's offense, which you understand, because at that time Joe Tiller was running some revolutionary stuff, spread. He was one of the first guys to ever put the spread in and throw it the way they did. So you understand why he wanted to go and play for Joe Tiller, but it's kind of weird that Drew Brees has such an aversion to cold, allegedly, reputedly, that he is supposed to be he hates the weather so much, and yet this is a guy that went to Purdue for 4 years. So you would think, if nothing else, he at least kind of has a feeling on how it works. He seems to have a nice idea of exactly how to handle this thing. Also, a thing that I noticed, Raj, and maybe this will. Roy and I are going to pick this game because it's on the slate. We're going to pick the Dallas game, the Saints game, and the LSU game. No matter what, it's not a big number, and that sort of that concerns me a little bit because when you see an odd line, you always think, what does Vegas know that I don't know? And the Saints are only a 5.5-point favorite. It feels like, now granted, you normally say, okay, home field advantage is usually somewhere, depending on the field and the crowd, home field advantage is usually somewhere around 1 to 3 points. That's kind of how it works. Sometimes it can be even a little bit more than that if it's a great home environment. So realistically, Vegas is saying they think the Saints are about 6 to 8 points better. Now, again, I always feel like I have to explain this. A lot of what goes on in these lines with Vegas, they move them a little bit based on how they can get the bets to be as even as possible. If they think, that's why you'll see Alabama's lines a little bit suspect, because Alabama, LSU, Georgia, the big SEC teams usually have large numbers of people betting on them and large money on it. So they have to work doubly hard to make sure that, because if they came in and said Alabama was a 9-point favorite over Mississippi State, 100% of the money would be on Alabama -9. So they have to move it and massage it a little bit to where they've got to get the number so high that Alabama fans would even say, okay, got to think about that. Like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. But the other people that don't have any quote-unquote skin in the game, that aren't concerned about either team, that aren't a fan of either team, look at it and go, that's just too many points, I can't do it. They need people to bet on Mississippi State. They need people to bet on underdogs. And so they have to make the lines, they have to get the lines in the right spot. So 5.5 it's a little bit, I don't know, it feels a little strange to me. Now, as Fletcher has talked about repeatedly, the Bengals have the worst pass defense in the entire league. They are one of the worst defenses in the entire league. They just gave up nearly 600 yards to Tampa, even though they won that game. They gave up nearly 600 yards to Tampa. You feel like this is the kind of game, and as I look at the weather forecast, and again, the weather is the thing I'm mostly concerned about. What you concern yourself with in that regard, you concern yourself with A, cold, B, precipitation, C, wind. Wind is a huge thing when you start playing in the Midwest and the North. Well, here's the weather for Cincinnati, according to the Weather Channel. 46 degrees, sunny, 0% chance of any precipitation, and the wind is 6 miles an hour. You could not ask for a better forecast for this game for New Orleans. And that's why I think 5.5 sounds really good and even sounds low in that regard, because you feel like the Saints are just going to annihilate the Bengals offensively. Then the question is, will that defense continue to hold up? I mean, Andy Dalton hasn't exactly wowed anyone, and the Bengals don't have their best receiver, A.J. Green, and that's a huge deal as well. All right, if you want to call us, you can at 320-1130, 320-1130. Or if you'd want to hit us up on the text line, you can do that as well. The text line is 318-657-0HAM, 657-0426. Let's go to the phones. Billy, good afternoon, sir.
Hey, Patrick, how you doing
today? I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing just fine. Why is it only 5.5?
That's a great question.
Well, first thing is, this is the third road game in 4 games.
Okay.
In other words, you went to the Vikings, you went to the Ravens.
Ravens, right?
Then you came home and you had a tough game with the Rams, and now you're back on the road again. I think that's one thing. I think the weather. I saw, and then we'll go years back. I saw the Saints 2 different years in Chicago stink it up bad on bad weather games.
Well, and those were bad weather games, but Billy, like I just mentioned, and I know you were on hold, so you probably didn't get to hear it, but I just went through the weather forecast. 46 degrees, sunny, no chance of precipitation, and the wind is 6 miles an hour. I mean, that's perfect conditions for the Saints offense.
I will just have to say this. Sooner or later, this is going to have to come down to the Bengals almost slipping up on them because, and that's what Vegas thinks, that they're getting ready to have to just, when in doubt, and I've seen Vegas do this before, which is the team that has to have the win?
I mean, the Bengals certainly need it a lot more than the Saints do at this point. Although, again, you go back and Billy, the Saints have to be looking at this as an amazing opportunity to create some space within the division. And they know Carolina's dangerous, even though Pittsburgh just took them out back and beat them behind the woodshed. But, they understand that Carolina's dangerous, especially because you still have to play there. You still have to play at Tampa. Granted, it's a much different Saints team and a much different Tampa team than Week 1. And you still have Atlanta to face, who's very dangerous offensively. So, if the Saints find a way to win this game, and they've got a 2-game lead you're looking at an NFC South lead of 2 games, that's a huge deal.
Well, as we sit here right now, I mean, I told Fletch this when they started this run, where they went this Vikings, Ravens, Rams, now Cincinnati, and then I think next is Philadelphia. Okay, if you go undefeated on this run, Patrick, I don't see how anybody stops you from getting at least to the Super Bowl. Because that just seems to me, you will have done it against the best teams across the NFL, and you will have done it mostly on the road. Now,
and that's the thing, Billy. This year is proving to be a little bit different than years past for the Saints, and that is they have already gone to Minnesota and won a game, and won it in pretty good fashion. They have already gone to Baltimore and won a game in pretty good fashion, and those are teams that both are allegedly top 5, top 10 defenses in the league. The fact that the Saints went on the road and won those games and won them reasonably convincingly, that's a huge, huge deal for this year of New Orleans Saints football. This gives you some hope that, hey, if somehow you slip up in the regular season and the NFC Championship game is in Los Angeles or somewhere else, you've got a real shot to go out there and win that game. I love the way this Saints team is at. And, Billy, thank you so much for the call, man. I appreciate it. All right. I love where the positioning of this Saints team is right now. Right? They're 7-1, and most people right now, most pundits have them as the #1 team in the power ranking. So, I mean, that's Captain Obvious here. Mr. Know-It-All doesn't have to tell you exactly that.
Here's that man with a head just crammed full of knowledge, Mr. Know-It-All.
Thank you very much. You don't have to be Mr. Know-It-All to understand exactly the fact that the Saints are in the driver's seat right now. But I'm interested to find out exactly how this regular season plays out, and if the Saints if they come out and look convincing against the Bengals this weekend, then you're really talking about a team. Now, granted, you've still got to face Pittsburgh. That's going to be a tough ball game, as we saw Carolina struggle with them. You got to face Pittsburgh and their tremendous wealth of talent. You've got to face Carolina twice, Atlanta once, Tampa Bay once. There's still a lot of potholes ahead, but as of right now, the road is very smooth. A lot smoother than I-20 when I was coming back from Dallas last night, I can tell you that. So, it'd be interesting. I'm just curious to see how the Saints respond to all of this. I want to see them go out. I want to see them have a really good game. I want to see them go out and continue to make the statement that they started making 6 weeks ago. See how that happens. Man, I love a little Chicago. You can't go wrong with Peter Cetera. I might be the only person who thinks that. Everybody needs a little time away. And sometimes everyone does need a little time away. It happens, man. Sometimes Raj and I need a little time away from each other. It's just what happens. That's right, the weekend coming right up. Let's take a break. Come back and break this one down. We're going to talk LSU Arkansas in the next hour. Don't forget, at the top of the hour, we're going to have Roy Lang III on. He's going to give us Lang's locks, tell you the games he's looking forward to. I'll tell you the games. I'll pick some games. He'll pick some games. We'll pick the LSU, the Dallas, and the Saints games. You go pick with him and pick against me, and I guarantee you'll have a great weekend, folks. It's the Patrick Netherton Show.
After all that we've been through, I will make it up to you.
Welcome to Walk-On's Bistro and Bar, where every dish starts from scratch. Fresh ingredients bring our food to life. Mouth-watering cuisine, unique flavors, And we're always more than happy to share our Southern charm and culture. A love of life, family, food, friends, fun, sports, and celebrations. Walk-ons. It's game day with the taste of Louisiana.
Academic Cooling and Heating, 861-2255, 861-2255. When it comes to making sure your house is cool and comfortable or warm and toasty, whatever it is that you're looking for, AccuTemp can provide it. If you are having difficulty with the temperature in your house, if it's just stinking uncomfortable, boy, howdy, why suffer through misery? Unless the movie's on, which it's really pretty good. But outside of that misery, come on, don't have to suffer a broken left foot and right foot to realize AccuTemp's the best place to call. 861-2255. This is no James Caan job. I'm not setting any kind of Kathy Bates here for you. It's legit. 861-2255, 861-2255, AccuTemp Cooling and Heating. It won't be long before the calendar flips over to 2019. As a guy who flies by the seat of my pants, that's scary. But for those that do a little planning, that's not so frightening at all, especially if you have as a partner First Choice Personnel. Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Tim, definitely. Have anyone. Give us a call. We have candidates every day coming in. We have people looking for jobs every day. Give us a call. We have clerical people looking. We have production, manufacturing, assembly, CDL drivers. Give us a call.
Get your 2019 planning started the right way with First Choice Personnel, 797-7810.
Today's the day to get motivated, to be inspired, to start listening. And now with Audible for just $14.95 a month, you get any audiobook of your choice and 2 Audible originals. Plus, for the first time ever, exclusive fitness and wellness programs, all included with your membership. And if you don't like a book, exchange it at any time. So make today the day you start listening to Audible. Start your 30-day trial and get your first audiobook for free at audible.com.
And now, a page from the Diary of Flo.
Dear Diary, there's something about protecting people's homes through Progressive that inspires me, because I just had an idea for a book. Well, it was originally an idea for a movie based on a play inspired by a podcast, but the idea is how you can save when you bundle home and auto. Might not be the best idea for a book.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive.
Maybe a radio commercial? Guess we'll never know.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
What do I value the most? Decorating the house for the holidays, all together.
And I value the JCPenney biggest home sale. You gotta go. Find amazing deals like select mattresses for up to 60% off and select small kitchen electrics for $9.99 after $10 mail-in rebate. Or get $10 off your $25 purchase with coupon. Hurry, ends Monday. JCPenney. Style and value for all. Coupon valid 11/8 through 11/12. Pricing valid 11/1 through 11/12. Conditions and exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
Don't put your life on the line when you dig. Do what the pros do. Respect the marks. Dig with care. And before you dig, call 811. Louisiana One Call.
Moorhead Pools has been a part of Hanging with Hester from the very beginning. You're talking about a company that's been in the top 25 for 5 years running in all of North America, according to Pool and Spa News. They've won numerous awards for their staffing. But Michael Moore's here to tell you what else they can do.
Well, Jacob, not only do we design pools, we want to design the entire environment. And that includes outdoor kitchens. That includes covered patios, living spaces. We want to take the inside to the outside. That's our goal, and do it in a very tasteful, elegant way.
Moorhead Pool, supporting Hanging with Hester.
We have been preaching this for so long, but it's nice to hear it from other sources as well. Gibbsland Bank and Trust certainly knows about customer service. The Minden Press Herald, our buddies over there in Webster Parish, just voted Gibbsland Bank and Trust the best bank and best customer service in Webster Parish. How you like them apples? You want great customer service? You want Gibbsland Bank and Trust, the great banking team.
Floating through the airwaves like smooth hickory smoke. Patrick Netherton. You're on 1130 The Tiger.
What I want, you got, and it might be hard to handle. But like a flame that burns a candle, the candle feeds.
It's a very symbiotic relationship, Roger. It's like the flame that burns the candle feeds the flame. You see how that works? Yeah, exactly. Everything is all intertwined with each other. We welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show right here on 1130 The Tiger, a Friday edition. I will not be here on Monday. Although I might try to call in depending on when we land and can get out of the airport. I'm not sure. Heading to Provo, Utah. I love a good Fletch reference. And by the way, that if you follow along with the Patrick Netherton Show, and there's a lot of ways to do it, you can follow us at Netherton Show on Twitter, or you can go to Facebook.com/Netherton Show. I apologize for those that are watching the Facebook feed. The Facebook Live feed is very far behind right now, and I'm not sure exactly why. So my apologies for that. It happens sometimes. It gets a little lagged out, and so my apologies for that. But we hope you're enjoying it. Again, you can follow us. He is at Heyboy Rogers. Heyboy Rogers. That's on Twitter. You can find him there, or you can find me on Twitter at PT Netherton. P as in Patrick, T as in my middle name, which starts with T, and Netherton. So if you want to follow along on Twitter, you can do that. And, of course, at Netherton Show, Facebook, Facebook.com/Netherton Show. You can watch from wherever you are at. And, by the way, if you're listening and you want look, I keep telling everyone, listen on the radio, please. Have at it. 1130 The Tiger, tune on 11:30 a.m., great. But get the app. Man, the app is so good. The audio is just crystal clear. I highly recommend it to you. If you get the app, please download it. Let us know if you're listening from somewhere outside of our normal 1130. I mean, we've got a 50,000 watt antenna going on here, so we reach a lot of places. But if you're listening to us outside of that, maybe you're listening in Bangladesh, or you're listening in. I have a big following. I have a big following in Morocco, Raj. I hear I'm very popular in Morocco.
Wow, you've expanded your fan base.
Yeah.
I'm digging that.
In Morocco, you know what the show is called?
What?
The Patrick Netherton Show. Come on, Rogers. It's the name of the show. It's still the Patrick Netherton Show, Rogers.
No, it was El Patrick O. Netherton.
No. It's the Patrick Netherton Show, Rogers. No, you don't have to do anything.
Okay.
Like big in Morocco. Haven't quite gotten into the Canadian market, but really working on that as we speak.
I get it completely.
Yeah, so if you want to follow along, you can do that. You want to listen, please do. And if you do, tell us where you're listening from. Again, you can text the show at 318-6570-HAM, 318-657-0426, or you can call the show 320-1130. Both of those are 318 area codes, 320-1130. Coming up at the top of the hour, Lang's Locks. Roy will join us to talk a little bit about his lines that he likes, and I told him it can be over-unders, against the spread, whatever. Pick 4, 5, 6, 7 you like, give them to us, and then we'll both pick the Cowboys, the Saints, and the LSU game. Speaking of the LSU game, I know our Arkansas fan that does the morning show here on 1130 The Tiger is sandbagging a little bit when it comes to his beloved Razorbacks. There's a lot of talk about they've got no shot. There's a better shot that Rogers would go eat a salad or eat a rare steak.
Yes,
or Rogers would bypass a chance to have a beer on 2-for-1 beer day. There's a lot of that. Look, I think Arkansas has a legitimate chance, but not to win, if that makes sense. I'm not even sure they're going to cover, but I don't think this is going to be a runaway. I think there will be some Alabama hangover. I think there has to be some Alabama hangover. I still think LSU's defense is superior. I think Dave Aranda is still the best coordinator, the best defensive coordinator, certainly, but the best coordinator overall, I think, Dave Aranda. So I feel like Dave Aranda will again earn his money this week. I just don't think Arkansas is quite there yet, but I think they're a team that can certainly find a way to make a few plays against that LSU defense. Chad Morris is a fantastic offensive coordinator. He knows what he's talking about. He is a guy that would certainly be able to get some mismatches and find some ways to get guys open. I just don't think they can do it with any consistency. We'll pick this game coming up at the top of the hour, but I'm not. I'm just saying this. I think Arkansas will put some points on the board. I think LSU will probably go back a little bit to what Ed Orgeron is most comfortable with. I think you'll see a lot of ground game from LSU. I think you'll see Joe Burrow get into the run game a little bit. I think they may try to throw it a little bit, maybe just to prove to everyone they still can, but I don't think you're going to see I think you might see the offense go backwards a little bit in this ball game as opposed to going forwards. I would say maybe a little step backwards for the offense in terms of let's be a little bit more conservative. Let's go ahead and just grind this game to a halt because they know, and I think we all know, that LSU has better talent than Alabama. Even though the offensive line has been a struggle a little bit, we all understand that LSU has the superior talent. Now, it could actually go, and I could be completely wrong about this. I could be 100% wrong. And it could go that LSU decides, we're going to prove that our offense is better than it ever has been, and our offense is wide open, and we are, a risk-taking offense is going to throw the ball down the field, and they may come out and have Joe Burrow throw it 40 times. But I believe in my heart of hearts that you're going to see LSU pull it back a little bit. I think you're going to see the offense go a little bit into a shell, a little bit more into what Ed Orgeron is comfortable with. That's what I expect to see. That's not necessarily what will happen, but I expect to see LSU pull it back a little bit. I expect to see LSU try their best to just grind this game out. I mean, Arkansas is a team that has the capability to strike quickly. Chad Morris, I mentioned, good offensive coordinator. They've got good talent, albeit still young. And here's my number one concern for Arkansas. If I'm an Arkansas fan, if I'm Tim Fletcher, my number one concern is this. For me, in my estimation, it is harder to go from being a power pro-style football team to a spread-style football team. You look at what Chip Kelly did when he took over for Jim Mora at UCLA. Jim Mora was running a pro-style offense. Chip Kelly is running what Chip Kelly runs. Take a look at what Willie Taggart is doing at Florida State. Florida State was running Jimbo Fisher's offense. Now they've backed up, and they're running a little bit more of Willie Taggart stuff, the spread stuff, and they've struggled with it. Take a look at what's happening with Arkansas. They had Brett Bielema. Bielema was running that pro-style, run game first offense. Now they're trying to switch to what Chad Morris wants to do, which is more spread, RPO option stuff. And the problem you run into there is it is harder to take a big, bruising offensive lineman and turn him into an athletic O-lineman than it is to take an athletic O-lineman and ask him to be big and bruising. It's much harder to go the other way. You can easily take a guy who's got great athleticism, good feet, and say, you know what, we're going to put a little extra weight on you. We're going to ask you to be a little bit more limited in what we're expecting you to do. We just want you to go maul the guy across from you, or occasionally we'll let you zone block, that kind of thing. It is much harder to do the opposite, to take a big behemoth and put him out there and say, you know what, before we just had you reach block and occasionally just go push a guy, just maul people. Well, now we want you to pull. Now we want you to zone block. Now we want you to get out in front of the play. We want you to be downfield. We're going to ask you now to run 90, 92, 95, 100 plays if we can. We want tempo. That's harder for a big guy like that to do, and that's who Brett Bielema and Jimbo Fisher had recruited. They had recruited the big, beefy, power offensive linemen as opposed to the spread offensive linemen that need to be a little bit more athletic. So what happens? Now you struggle as you make that transition. And Arkansas is right in that phase of struggling in their transition. They are struggling trying to get the right guys in there to run the scheme that Chad Morris wants to run. That's exactly where we're sitting. And I think you look at Jimbo Fisher, who has had a modicum of success at A&M running his more pro-style offense, and I think you see that it's easier to transition that way than it is the other way. Because you look at who he replaced at Texas A&M, they were running the wide-open offense. They were all over there, the swag copter and all that. They were running wide open and all over the place. Offensive linemen are moving, they're zone blocking, they're getting out in front of the plays, they're RPOs, they're trying to move as fast as they can. All of that is happening, and yet now when you ask those guys to be a little bit more of a power blocking team, it's easier for them. The opposite, though, when you have a Florida State, You got those guys that are big, bruising, power-blocking guys for Jimbo Fisher, and you ask those guys to suddenly turn into a spread team and move and get out, it's not easy. It is not that easy. So the transition from a power offense to a spread offense, much tougher than the transition from a spread offense to a power offense, and I think we're seeing that with what's going on with Chad Morris. All right, coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, we will have, just got confirmation of Clint Sterner. Excellent. 4:30, the legendary Arkansas Razorback quarterback will join us at 4:30 to chat about the Arkansas-LSU matchup, and I'll ask him a little bit about that, about how tough it is to transition from a pro-style offense, especially for the O-lineman, to that more spread concept. Coming up next, Lang's Locks. Roy Lang III, the sports editor of the Shreveport Times, will join us. He will give us his picks. I'll give you my picks. And we'll start going at each other. We'll do it through the end of the Super Bowl. We'll see who comes out on top. Maybe we'll even put a little wager on it. Who knows? A round of golf or something like that. We'll figure it out. Roy Lang III is next on the Patrick Netherton Show.
Ever feel rejected? A little misapprehensive. Said, ooh, she fell in love. What is the feeling taking hold on? Thinking no one could open the door. Surprise! It's time to feel what's real.
So often we talk Chevy Land and the beautiful new cars, trucks, and SUVs out there, and for good reason. I mean, my gosh, have you seen the Silverado? Have you seen that Camaro? I feel like we've neglected the service department. Here's what Christy J had to say. My service rep, Kenny, was very friendly and understanding, kept in touch with me, letting me know the status of my vehicle. He's knowledgeable of his job. I will recommend him to all my family and friends. He's excellent. John B. in Bossier said the service professionals did a great job. Great service at Chevyland. You know it by the feeling. 7500 Uri Drive. People are looking for an employment situation where you're surrounded by folks that you like, doing work that you enjoy, and benefiting humanity. Hey, I know a place that can do all of that and more. Gibbsland Bank and Trust. It's not just a job, it's a career. Visit their website, gibbslandbank.com/careers, and join the great banking team.
Welcome to Walk-On's Bistro and Bar, where every dish starts from scratch. Fresh ingredients bring our food to life. Mouth-watering cuisine, unique flavors, and we're always more than happy to share our Southern charm and culture. A love of life, family, food, friends, fun, sports, and celebrations. Walk-Ons. It's game day with the taste of Louisiana.
It's the little things, like gifting yourself at Stage & Bells. November 8th through 11th, when you spend $75 or more in-store with your Stage & Bells credit card, you'll get to pick one of 3 free experiences. Either a photo shoot for your family, a luxurious beauty treatment, or 2 Fandango movie tickets up to a $30 value. Simply save your receipt and submit your registration form within 14 days of purchase. Earn your free experience at Stage & Bells, November 8th through 11th. Stage & Bells. Little things mean everything. 1 submission per customer. Terms apply. Visit stage.com/gift yourself.
O'Reilly. O'Reilly Auto Parts is proud to offer a military discount for those who have served our country. If you're an active or retired member of the military or a veteran, stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store and receive your discount every day as our way of saying thank you for your service. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Shania Twain, Jake Owen, and Travis Tritt are bringing country music to USA Network with the new competition show, Real Country.
Y'all ready to get real tonight?
Join them on a search for the next country superstar.
This is what the American dream is all about.
With a little help from some of the biggest names in country music, including Big and Rich, King Brown, and Winona.
Be authentic. Do it your own way.
You guys are awesome.
I have never seen a show like this before.
Real Country premieres November 13th on USA Network.
Water heater problem? Let Oswald fix it. Is your commode stopped up? Let Oswald fix it. Do you have a leaky garbage disposal? Let Oswald fix it. Poor water pressure? Let Oswald fix it. For all your plumbing repairs, let Oswald fix it. Call 453-5108 and let Oswald fix it.
If you work for yourself, don't think of that sound as a receipt being crumpled.
Think of it as lost deductions, because every business receipt you lose is cash lost. $5, $3, $2. And if you misplace $10 of business receipts every workday for a year, that's $2,600 in lost deductions, unless you've already snapped them with QuickBooks.
Snap and sort your expenses for maximum deductions at tax time. Visit QuickBooks.com. Smarter business tools for the world's hardest workers. QuickBooks, backing you.
Nicole joins us from First Choice Personnel. Make First Choice your last call, 797-7810. Nicole, the CDL operation thing there where you're always looking for drivers.
We are. We look for Class A. We look for Class B drivers. We're always looking for drivers. They can give us a call. We need with endorsements, without endorsements, always give us a call.
Now, if you need someone who leaves the left blinker on, Rogers Hampton is available. First Choice Personnel. Make First Choice your last call, 797-7810.
Do you dream in color, in sparkling blues, and sun-kissed yellows? In your dreams, do your kids trade technology for time with you? Is fun and relaxation the main agenda? Do your dreams shape your family life and bring you all great joy? Your dreams can be real and lasting, and you can live your dreams every day. Moorhead Pools, where your dreams come true in your own backyard.
1130 The Tiger, your home for LSU sports, powered by Jack Spring Electric.
A good time is in the air. It's the Patrick Netherton Show. KWKH AM Shreveport Bossier.
And the Tigers lead it 23-6.
The home of LSU sports is 1130 The Tiger.
Yes. Oh. Here, you know what's interesting, and Roy Lang III coming up momentarily, I promise. Rogers, am I the most interesting guy to produce in terms of music?
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
I mean, most hosts you kind of can
sort of zero
them into the genre of music they like with a little bit of. No, man,
I'm all over the place.
You're from love songs to endless love to if you wanted to hear Motley Crue, if you wanted to hear Rupert Holmes, if you want to hear Hamilton, Joe Frank, and Reynolds.
Yeah.
Well, here it is.
Hey, England Dan, John Forcoli, sign me up, brother.
I'm not talking about forever.
Hey. You got to believe it, brother. We welcome you back. It is the Patrick Netherton Show on 1130 The Tiger. New weekly segment coming up, and we'll get it sponsored at some point. It's Lang's Locks. Roy Lang III, sports editor of the Shreveport Times, joining us here on the Patrick Netherton Show. He loves the name of the show, by the way. He is a big fan, much like the rest of us are. The creative team on the Patrick Netherton Show really did a lot of work on that, putting that together. RL3, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, and I'm glad you finally got your rest after coming up with the name of that show. I know it took you a while.
It was highly taxing on my minuscule thought powers, Roy, is all I'm saying. It took a little bit to...
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. And congratulations to you. Roy, at the ripe old age of 67, has gotten engaged, of all things. So, man, I never thought I'd see the day. That's the upset.
Sadly, that's 67 closer than 23. So
well,
that's pretty sad.
Yeah, unfortunately for both of us, I think that's the case, my friend. All right, so,
way,
yes.
Before we get into it, though, I want to say my prediction in 2 months is this show will be the Patrick Netherton Show with Rogers Hampton.
Oh, you think?
Hey, boy!
And he will demand co-billing before long.
Well, look, at this point, I'm just happy if anything gets billed and anything gets paid right now. That's where I'm at, my friend. All right, Roy, so we're bringing you in. But before we get into these picks, how about the breaking news of the day? Des Bryant, potential ACL or Achilles tendon tear, and perhaps done for the year and maybe even his career. I mean, that's a tough injury to come back from.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I've covering Des during his time with the Cowboys, and I'd written it a couple times. I fully believe football was almost all he had, especially early on in his career. Obviously, he's had some well-documented family struggles and stuff like that, and I really thought he was just one of those kids that football was everything to him. And, to come back and look like he was going to be on one of the best offenses in the NFL, I know is exciting to him, and it was exciting for Saints fans because if he was healthy, which it turns out he's not, I really think the Saints were a better football team.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt about that. And my only question was how fast would he pick up the offense? I said earlier on the show, Drew Brees would have come into the huddle and said Brown right, I right, 497s, Z slant, Y cross, X charge. Dez, you run a post. How about that?
Dez, get open.
Yeah, Dez, you run a post, and if you hear me say kill, 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 just do something. Just run around until you find a hole.
Right.
All right, let's make some money, Roy. How about that?
Okay, let's try.
All right, so here's the deal. This is what I've told everyone, that if you really want to make money, then they're going to go with you on your picks, and they're going to pick opposite me, and everyone will make a ton of cash.
Well, does that mean I can void one of my picks if you actually pick the same side? Then that's not good news for me.
No, it's not good news for you, sir. And again, you and I have not collaborated on this at all. I basically said come up with your best 4, 5, 6 picks, and then we're both going to pick the Saints, the Cowboys, and the LSU game. And so it's totally random. You pick what you pick, I pick what I pick, and if we happen to all pick the same thing, then so be it. Roy, let's start with the games we were going to pick anyway. All right, before we get the wild cards, Saints surprisingly a 5.5-point favorite at Cincinnati. Weather forecast looks great. Doesn't appear like there's going to be anything wrong. No wind, no rain. Temperatures are going to be cool but mild. What do you got? Saints minus 5.5 at Cincinnati.
Well, you have disappointed me already. How you build the line of surprisingly. So my pick of the Bengals plus what did you have? 5.5.
5.5. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my pick because nothing ever goes smoothly in the NFL, and the Saints are running so hot right now. A road out of conference game against a really good team is a perfect time for a hiccup. So I'm going to go with the Bengals plus the 5.5.
Look at you.
I'm feeling your the same way.
Look at you. Hey, you already are a winner because you picked against me. It's perfect. That's well done on your part.
Okay.
Let's talk about Dallas, and Philadelphia. Philly is a 7-point favorite in this one. I went ahead and got Philly minus 7. I think the Eagles are due for a good bounce back. I think they're probably, they're ready to go. This is going to be on the road in Philadelphia. I like Philly minus 7.
Oh, this is working out perfect. Dallas, despite the 2 terrible mistakes by Dak Prescott, is better than they showed on Monday night. I think you're getting a little value because of what happened Monday night. Their offense is much better with Amari Cooper, and I think they're going to prove that. They can keep this one close, so I'm taking the 7.
All right, so Philadelphia and Dallas. I've got Dallas. I've got Philadelphia minus 7. You've got Dallas plus 7. And finally, LSU 13 at Arkansas. I just feel like LSU is going to pull things back a little bit, play it a little bit closer to the vest, but I think they're just too talented. I think Arkansas will score a few points, but I don't think they're going to be able to really slow down LSU. I love Dave Aranda. I think he's the best defensive coordinator in America, obviously other than Nick Saban. Give me LSU minus 13 at Arkansas.
2 minutes into this segment, I love it already. Arkansas plus the 13. Natural letdown here. LSU's season in terms of national championship is over. There's going to be a hangover from Alabama. I'm not saying they're going to lose this game, but things could get crazy in Fayetteville, and I think they keep it within 2 scores.
So the 3 mandatory games that we pick, we go opposite each other immediately.
Yep.
I love it. That is beautiful. Again, folks, just go with him, all right? Just go with whatever Roy says. I promise that's going to be the winning side. I'm already 0-3 on the year. I can feel it in my bones. All right, give me your first wild card pick, Roy.
Wild card, I'm going to go to college first, and a surprise trip to the Mountain West. Nevada, given 14 against my CSU Rams. The turnover-prone Rams are in trouble this week. Nevada smokes them.
All right, Nevada minus 14. Where's that? Is that Colorado State or at home?
That's at Nevada.
All right, so at home against Colorado State. Roy, my first pick, I actually went all college except for 1 pick, and my last pick is my most favorite and most hilarious, and I can't wait to give it to you. I'm going to go Big 12 to start with. I'm actually going with this is the brother-in-law pick, Roy. Literally, my brother-in-law, who is a giant TCU fan, said, dude, Put everything you've got on West Virginia. TCU is missing like 30 guys. They can't stop anybody. It's in West Virginia, in Morgantown. I got West Virginia minus 11.5 against TCU. All right, your number 2 pick, Roy.
That's good intel. SEC, Dave Foster. I'm going with the best friend intel here. Dave Foster convinced the Vols have no chance to become bowl eligible, although, as you know, the Independence Bowl would love to see that happen.
Sure.
This week, Kentucky, -5 at Tennessee. I'm going with the Wildcats.
Kentucky -5 at the Volunteers. Roy is locked in there. All right, my second pick, and Roy, tell me if you agree with this. If you see a line that looks completely insane, Vegas is telling you something, and you have to go with what they're telling you, that they know something that you don't know. Do you agree with that?
You know I'm a huge proponent of that, especially in the NFL. College can get a little murky, but I still agree with you.
All right. Can you explain to me why the Nebraska Cornhuskers at 2-7 are a 17.5-point favorite over the 4-5 Illinois Fighting Illini and Lovie Smith?
Wow, that is a terrible game. Holy cow,
I looked at this line and I said, why is Nebraska with 2 wins favored by 17.5? It's because Vegas knows something. I've got Nebraska minus 17.5 against Illinois.
I think that might be your best pick because nobody of those in those 2 teams should be favored by that much. So I think you're right.
All right.
I'm going to stick with the SEC. I'm going to mix in a total here. Alabama against Mississippi State, 52.5. Bama's offense is going to be back this week. State can score a little bit, and hopefully it'll get a little easier against the second and third teamers in the second half. So I'm going over 52, Bama, Mississippi State.
I only have one over-under pick. It's my last one, and it's my favorite one. There is no doubt about that. All right. I am going to, again, this is another of these, I don't understand why this line is the way it is, lines, and that is Washington State, who is sort of right on the outside of the college football playoff looking in. Mike Leach has those guys rolling. They head to Boulder, Colorado, and they are only a 6-point favorite in Boulder. So I'm taking Colorado +6 against Washington State in Boulder.
Who would have thought a Shreveport, Louisiana radio show would have both Colorado State and Colorado in their picks? This is tremendous. I'm going over to the NFL. How many total picks did you have wild card wise?
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, cool. I had 7.
Well, I've got a 7th one if you want it, so bring it.
All right, cool. First total in the NFL: Colts, Jaguars. That does not scream offense to me. Jaguars are a mess, but their defense is a little better than it's been lately. Under 46.5, and if you play unders, you deserve some medication, especially in the NFL, but I'm going under in Colts Jag.
What was the 47.5 you said?
46.5.
46.5. Oh, just wait till you hear my over-under. You're going to die. It is the best. All right, how about we stay a little bit closer to home down in New Orleans? Willie Fritz has Tulane rolling. The addition of Justin McMillan from LSU has got that shotgun triple option offense absolutely purring. ECU has been awful this year. Give me Tulane minus 11.5 against the Pirates.
Go away. I'm going to stick in the NFL. Another total and another under. I definitely deserve some medication. Chargers at Oakland. The unders and Phillip Rivers are usually a scary proposition, but this one's just a little too high. The Raiders are inept. The total is 50 for Chargers Oakland, and I'm going under.
All right, Chargers under 50 against the Oakland Raiders. This is another one that confused me a little bit, but instead of betting the way that Vegas wants you to be confused by it, I dumbly am betting the opposite direction. I think I know better than Vegas on this one. Houston is a juggernaut when it comes to offense. They score points left and right. No matter whether Ed Oliver is available or not, their offense is so good under Major Applewhite. Temple comes in. Temple can score a little bit, but I love Houston at home minus 4.5.
Oh, man, I'm going to the end. I cannot wait. So this is my penultimate pick.
All right.
NFL, I am hopefully Buffalo keeps the pick sixes under 2. So I'm going with the Bills +7 at the Jets. The Bills defense too good to get smoked by the Jets, but those pick sixes could kill you. But I'm still taking 7 points with Buffalo at the Jets.
Bills +7 at the Jets. You're really going to love my over-under now. All right, my final wild card pick, Roy. I am going completely out of the clear blue just because I love the idea of the bottom 25. UTEP finally got off the schneid. They finally got win one. They are hosting Middle Tennessee, who's a pretty solid squad. I think Middle Tennessee covers the 13.5 on the road. Give me Middle Tennessee minus 13.5 in, the Sun Bowl in El Paso.
You know, every game in college football is pretty much on TV somewhere, but people are going to write these down and really going to have trouble finding some of these content.
Hey, that's on ESPN Plus, Roy. You can find that. It's $4.99 a month. It's all you need.
Oh, my last NFL selection and last pick of the week, going to the vaunted Falcons at Browns game. A little backstory. Last week was one of the worst weeks in history for Las Vegas Sportsbook during the regular season, as the top 9 public picks all won. So the public went 9-0 with their most popular picks, which, as you know, never happens. This week's top public pick is the Falcons. So I am going the opposite way and going with the Browns +6 against the Falcons.
All right, Roy. My final pick is my favorite, and I literally saw this when I was just scrolling through, and again, I'm not a big research guy. Like, I'm not going to look into these matchups. Again, that's why you should pick against me and pick with Roy. You said people who pick the unders should do what again?
They really need medication. They should be hospitalized, committed, however you want to put it.
Roy, you have Bills +7 at the New York Jets. I have Bills Jets under 36.5.
36.5.
36.5 is the over-under for Bills Jets. The Jets are putting some form of McCown in at quarterback. The Bills actually have a pretty good defense, but I think you could play quarterback better than Nathan Peterman can, or whoever they're going to trot out there to play quarterback. Give me a 17-7 final on that one, and Bills Jets under 36.5.
Well, the under would certainly help my taking the points. Your 10-point spread will not, but whatever. I 36.5. There's usually a rule, especially in the NFL, going under the lowest total and over the highest total are good series. So you going under that 36.5 is right along with what you should. I like your NFL picks this week.
Well, thank you. There's only a couple of them, and I'm much more, and I'll lose all the college picks anyway. So to recap, and again, if you want to find these picks, again, bet against me, bet with Roy. That's your best chance of making actual money on this thing. And again, legally bet, of course, in wherever you go to legal. Go to Biloxi and bet on these things. Again, if you want to find them, I will post them on my Facebook page at Netherton Show and on Twitter at Netherton Show, and I'm sure Roy will also share them as well. But here are the lines. I've got West Virginia minus 11.5 against TCU. I've got Nebraska minus 17.5 against Illinois. I've got Colorado +6 against Washington State. Tulane minus 11.5 against ECU, East Carolina. Got Houston minus 4.5 against Temple. Middle Tennessee minus 13.5 at UTEP, and I'm taking the under 36.5 for Bills Jets. Meanwhile, the Saints Philly LSU games, Roy and I are completely opposite of each other. I have Saints minus 5.5. Roy has Cincy plus 5.5. I have Philly minus 7 against Dallas. Roy has Dallas plus 7. And I have LSU minus 13 at Arkansas. Roy has Arkansas plus 13. And to recap Mr. Lang's picks, he's got Nevada minus 14 against Colorado State. Kentucky minus 5 at Tennessee. He's got the over 52.5 Bama and Mississippi State. He's got the under 46.5 Colts Jags, and the under 50 Chargers Oakland plus Bills plus 7 at the New York Jets, and Browns plus 6 against the Falcons. And again, we'll post all those for you. They'll be available on social media. You'll be able to catch those. Roy, I'm really looking forward to you beating me, 10-0 this week.
I will share these picks if and when I win. If I do not win, they will not show up on my social media anywhere. So.
That is fair, my friend. That is fair. Where are you at tonight, by the way?
Tonight I'm doing a boxing event at the Horseshoe Casino. Our buddy...
Are you boxing?
Yeah, I'm boxing. Blake Franklin. Yeah, he's the main event.
Yeah, Trouble.
Our buddy Blake. Yeah, so Trouble Franklin is going to take to the ring at the Horseshoe Casino, so I'll be there.
Beautiful. I like it. My man is Michael Buffer Jr. over here. Just don't say anything close to "Let's get ready to rumble," or else you know you're getting sued. Just so you know that.
Yeah, I've already run into that problem with the Buffers, so I will not.
Yeah, be careful, my friend. As always, good to talk to you, and look forward to your picks going 10-0 this week.
Congrats, and if they do, Roger should get his name on the program.
We're never putting that in play. I can assure you of that right now. Thanks, brother. Have a good weekend.
Congrats, you too.
All right, that is Roy Lang III, the man, the myth, the legend. Fantastic stuff from him. And again, I will post all of these picks this evening. You can find them at Netherton Show. We kind of went through them quickly, but that's a great segment. I really enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to doing that every week. We'll do it through bowl season. We'll do it into the Super Bowl. And then I think we're probably going to have to end it there, because if we start getting into NBA and college basketball picks, I will definitely be SOL on that one. Coming up in about 10 minutes or so, we'll have Clint Sterner, the former quarterback of the Arkansas Razorbacks. He will join us to break down this LSU-Arkansas matchup. Boy, great show so far. A lot of fun. We'll see you back in just a few. Patrick Netherton Show, 11:30 The Tiger.
Some no-name chump when they know that I'm the star. So I got up and strolled over to the other side of the cantina. I asked the guy, why you so fly? He said, Funky Cole Medina.
You can bank with, 15, 20, 30, 40 different banks to choose from in Shreveport, Bossier alone, maybe even more than that. But how about investing in a bank that invests in the community? Putting your money into the bank that's in the community. That's what you're doing when you make Gibbsland Bank and Trust your great banking team. That's right, they do so much in this community, so many different ways, and you are a part of it when you join up with Gibbsland Bank and Trust, the great banking team.
This ad is 30 seconds long. There really aren't a lot of things you can do in 30 seconds. Unless you are using QuickBooks Smart Invoicing. Then here are 3 things you can do. Invoice 1. Send. Invoice 2. Send. And Invoice 3. Send.
Use QuickBooks Smart Invoicing and get paid twice as fast with a Pay Now button right on the invoice. QuickBooks, backing you.
It's Macy's Veterans Day sale. Use your Macy's card or Savings Pass and get an extra 10 to 20% off. Take 30% off boots and booties at our great coat and boot sale. Save 40 to 80% during the men's event. And save 20 to 65% with our lowest prices of the season on furniture and mattresses. Now through November 11th at Macy's. Savings off sale prices, exclusions apply. Macy's Star Rewards members can earn towards Star Money. Ask your store associate or visit Macys.com/Star Money for details.
Yo, we driving, we living our best life and my car smells fresh. But we weren't always thriving, it was you, girl.
Told you so.
Who pointed out that smell? Right. Now it's all fun, the odor's gone. Febreze car works so well, come on, keep driving, let's go.
Oh boy, your car smells
Febreze
nice.
car, yeah, let's go. That's right. No more odors in my ride, now let's go.
Oh yeah, we made it so nice.
Febreze car, keep riding, let's go. And now the world can say,
Breathe happy Febreze.
La 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 la.
What do I value the most? My home filled with loved ones and the hugs we share.
And I value the JCPenney Veterans Day sale. You gotta go. Shop the JCPenney Veterans Day sale Thursday through Monday. Get up to 50% off select coats, denim, and sweaters for the whole family. Plus, get $10 off your $25 purchase with coupon. Hurry in. JCPenney. Style and value for all. Offers valid 11/8 through 11/12. Exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
Today's the day to get motivated, to be inspired, to start listening. And now with Audible for just $14.95 a month, you get any audiobook of your choice and 2 Audible originals. Plus, for the first time ever, exclusive fitness and wellness programs all included with your membership. And if you don't like a book, exchange it at any time. So make today the day you start listening to Audible. Start your 30-day trial and get your first audiobook for free at audible.com.
And now, a page from the Diary of Flo.
Dear Diary, there's something about protecting people's homes through Progressive that inspires me, because I just had an idea for a book. Well, it was originally an idea for a movie based on a play inspired by a podcast, but the idea is how you can save when you bundle home and auto. Might not be the best idea for a book.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive.
Maybe a radio commercial? Guess we'll never know.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
At AutoZone, helping you get more done is what we do best. Did you know that with the AutoZone Loan-A-Tool program, you can borrow a specialty tool, no purchase necessary? Choose from over 100 tools to help you get the job done right, no matter how big or small. And now's a great time to smooth out that ride with great deals on new Duralast loaded struts, now starting at $79.99. Visit any of our 5,500 locations nationwide and let us do more for you. Deposit required. Restrictions and details in store.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
This ad is 30 seconds long, but if you work for yourself, don't think of it as 30 seconds. Think of it as a little over 26 cents. Because if you're driving for work on a freeway at the speed limit, you'll travel around half a mile. That's worth over 26 cents in deductions come tax time. And that makes every half mile worth tracking.
You won't miss a mile with automatic mileage tracking. Visit QuickBooks.com. Smarter business tools for the world's hardest workers. QuickBooks, backing you. Over 26 cents deduction based on IRS 2017 standard mileage rates for business.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katie Beach with Shreveport Bossier Family Dental Care. We are excited to announce we will now be providing Invisalign treatments at our office. Call the office today to get an appointment with me, a trained Invisalign provider that can treat a wide range of teeth straightening cases. Give us a call at 686-7470 and get started today.
The precise and comfortable statement refers to the predictability and comfort of Invisalign clear aligners versus other aligners made of off-the-shelf .30-inch material. Please note that, like most medical devices, Invisalign clear aligners require a prescription. In rare cases, an allergic reaction may occur.
Welcome to Walk-On's Bistro and Bar, where every dish starts from scratch. Fresh ingredients bring our food to life. Mouth-watering cuisine, unique flavors, and we're always more than happy to share our Southern charm and culture. A love of life, family, food, friends, fun, sports, and celebrations. Walk-Ons. It's game day with the taste of Louisiana.
11:30 The Tiger, your home for LSU sports, powered by Jack Spring Electric.
Let's get to the meat of the matter with producer Rogers Hampton.
Hey, boy!
Here's your master of ceremonies, Patrick Netherton.
11:30 The Tiger.
I mean, Raj, when I say I have eclectic music taste, I'm not sure it goes all the way to bop. Although, I mean, back in the 90s...
Come on, those poor kids only had the one hit. I'm just trying to give them a little love.
You know what's crazy is they still play together. Like, they're still a band. And they have they cut their hair. They don't have the long blonde locks anymore, but they still say nobody knows what they're saying. Literally just noises, loud noises. We welcome you back to the Patrick Netherton Show. 11:30 The Tiger. Great conversation with Roy Lang. Again, Lang's Locks. We'll do that every Friday afternoon. Looking like a 10-0 week for Roy, and of course probably an 0-10 week for me. If you did not get his picks, then, or mine for that matter, if you want to vote, go against me and go with him, then you will be able to. You can do that if you like. You just go to social media on Twitter at Netherton Show or at PT Netherton. It'll be available on both of those, and you can find it on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Netherton Show. I will post those probably within the hour of the show ending. I'll get back home and post everything. Make sure you know it, but just some funny stuff in there, some good stuff, and as I mentioned, I'm the guy you go against, and so we mandated that we would pick 3 games, the same 3 games, the Dallas game, the Cowboys game, the Saints game, and the LSU game, and we came down on the opposite side of all three of them. I mean, just perfect. Couldn't have asked for anything better. So we end up with a 10-pack of picks, and actually we might do that. We might just put it at 10 every week. And if you want, I'm not going to go back through them. That's a lot of picks. It's 20 picks. I'm not going to go back through it. But suffices to say, I like the Saints. I like Philadelphia and LSU. Roy likes. I like them all to cover. Roy likes Cincinnati, or to cover the spread as favorites. Roy likes Cincinnati, Dallas, and Arkansas all to cover the spread as underdogs. Coming up in just a moment, we'll be talking with former Arkansas Razorback legend, the quarterback Clint Sterner. We'll get his thoughts on the LSU-Arkansas matchup. And again, I'm going to hit him up with what I think is going to happen. I think you're going to see LSU, especially against a reasonably porous Arkansas run defense, I think you're going to see LSU pull it back a little bit. I think they're going to maybe try to go a little bit into the shell, maybe a way to be a little bit safer and a little bit more vanilla, and just use their superior size and depth to be able to just push, and try to make their way to taking down Arkansas. And I think you're probably going to see that. This is a Razorback defense that struggled the last 5 games. They have allowed over 200 yards rushing in the last 5 games per game. So I think you'll probably see that a little bit. And LSU will want to get back to what they did against Georgia, which was when they ran for nearly 300 yards. You will see them, I think, go back to that sort of formula, try to go back to what Ed Orgeron is most comfortable with, what they like to do a little bit more. So I think you'll see that with LSU going back into the shell just a little bit in that regard. So I'm curious to see how that happens. And then, of course, will the LSU defense, which has been so good all season long, will they be able to hold down Arkansas? That's also the question that we will pose to one of the legends in Arkansas Razorback football history. He is Clint Sterner, the QB. Clint, how are you, my friend? Long time no chat.
Yeah, man, it's been a while. I'm going to hold that against you, man. Everything is good over here. Everything is good.
Well, look,
I want the Razorbacks to win in a few more games, but that's all right.
Yeah, I mean that's I think they're on their way. I like what Chad Morris is doing, and I want to pose this question to you off the top because I have said this for a while now, and I think you're seeing it play out again this year. I believe that it is tougher, especially on the offensive line, for linemen to transition from a power or pro style offense to the spread concepts, the RPOs, the up-tempo 90, 95 plays a game. I think it's harder to go that way than it is from a spread team to try to transition to a power offense. And I point to Chad Morris, I point to Chip Kelly at UCLA, I point to Willie Taggart at Florida State, all showing that it's tough to go from power to spread. And then you look at Jimbo Fisher at A&M going from spread back to power, and he's having a lot more success. What do you think?
Well, I definitely think there's some truth to system changes. I mean, they're difficult to go through for guys at the NFL level, much less the college level. So there definitely is some change, and I think the biggest thing that you hit on there is the tempo. Coach spent a large amount of time preseason, spring ball, fall camp, really just trying to get these guys to figure out how to play with tempo, play with a sense of urgency. There was absolutely zero sense of urgency in what was going on before Chad Morris took the job, and it's probably the most important ingredient. Although it's simple, you think it would be very easy to get guys to do, it's impossible for this power spread scheme to work if guys don't function with a sense of urgency. And so he spent a large amount of time teaching these guys, offensive line, receivers, everybody, every position on the offensive side of the ball, teaching them how to play with a sense of urgency between the whistles.
All right, before we get too deep into this matchup, I just wanted to hit that off the top because it's on the top of my brain. I want to talk about what's been going on with you because we all know when you're at that quarterback position, it is hard to replace that feeling once you stop playing because, and again, I was never a quarterback. I didn't play past 5th grade, but I understand when you're in a position where you have an adrenaline rush, there's something that goes along with that. It's hard to replicate that when you're done with it. Tell me about how you're trying to stay in the game, how you're trying to stay sharp. What are you doing? I know you're doing a lot of the media stuff, but you're also doing some other stuff that I find interesting on the QB training side.
Yeah, I think I naturally have a coaching bug in me. I don't want to work for a Bobby Petrino or a Bill Parcells, and that's not a profession you go into and you're picky about who you work for and those kind of things. So I got a coaching bug in me. I didn't go into the coaching profession as soon as I got done with ball, just simply because of what I just said. I would work for Houston Nutt. I would work for Brett Bielema. I would work for Chad Morris. But boy, you get the wrong spot, I wouldn't function very well. So the quarterback training thing really, really took off for me. I was trained at a young age because I had a really good high school coach, Dick Olin, down in just outside of Houston. He put 7 straight quarterbacks in Division I ball. And so he knew what he was talking about. And then I went to Arkansas, and I got coached by Joe Ferguson, who played 18 years in the league. I got to the Cowboys, and I was coached by Wade Wilson, who played 19 years in the league. And on top of that, I wasn't very talented, relatively speaking, so I had to work and understand the mechanics and the technique and the footwork and everything, how important it was, why I was doing it. And so it was just a natural transition for me to go into the quarterback training world. I had no idea that it was going to turn into what it is today, and truly it is part of what I do for a living. I mean, I train quarterbacks at all levels and enjoy it. I believe I'm as good, if not better, than everybody out there doing it. I follow the guys that do it at a high level, and I'm in the same league with them. So I feel like it's a calling, and I enjoy the hell out of it, for sure.
And by the way, you may or may not know this, but our listening area here in Shreveport has a very close relationship with your former mentor at Arkansas, Joe Ferguson. He was at Woodlawn High School here in Shreveport, running some of the most really innovative, prolific passing attacks in high school back when those didn't exist at the high school ranks. And we love Joe Ferguson. I've gotten a chance to meet him several times. As a matter of fact, I had a signed football of his when I was a kid, and it was my most prized possession growing up. So I love Joe, and certainly love that you got mentored by him.
Well, you know what's really cool about all those guys I mentioned? I mean, a couple of them played at the pro level. My high school coach had crazy amounts of success. He brought 7-on-7 to the South, actually. I mean, he's a legend down here in these parts. And every coach that I had, even Gene Dahlquist was he was an offensive coordinator at the University of Texas when I was coming out, so he didn't recruit me, so I always gave him a hard time about it. But he was my coach over in Scotland one year, so I got to spend 4 months with him. He was a big-time coordinator. But all of these guys, Pat, they were all technique, mechanic, drill-oriented guys. They believed in coming to practice every day and drilling specific footwork and making it second nature so that when live bullets started flying in a game, you leaned heavily on what you worked on a daily basis. And all those guys were like that. So, again, when I was going through it, I didn't know how valuable that was relative to being able to train a quarterback one day. But in hindsight, I think it would be a shame if I didn't at least offer the guys in the Houston area and the Little Rock area where I'm at, if I didn't at least offer them the just tons of quarterback knowledge and technique work stuff that was poured into me when I was playing. It would be a shame if I didn't pass it on, man. So, like I said, I enjoy the heck out of it. I believe wholeheartedly that I'm as good as anybody in the business, including coaches that are at universities and stuff like that. I've worked closely with a lot of them. And so, man, I love it. I'm confident in it, and it makes me happy and pays the bill.
You have anyone we know of yet? Anyone gotten to that level yet? Where I know you haven't done it for a long time, so you've kind of gotten some guys through the system. But anybody we've heard of that has gone on and moved into the college or pro ranks?
Yeah, man, I've got Taylor Powell is up at Missouri. He's a backup right now, but he's coming along. He's just a redshirt freshman. He's coming along. Gary Bohannon is at Baylor. He was a big name coming out of Arkansas last year that had offers from dang near everybody in the SEC. Ended up at Baylor. He's coming along. I've got one at two of them at the community college, junior college level that are going to be big time guys that are playing really well out of the Little Rock area. Man, I've got 2 at Ouachita. I've got 1 at Monticello. I've got 1 at UCA. But Braylon, he broke his leg earlier this year, but he's a starter, and they were undefeated up until he got hurt. So, man, I've been doing it long enough to where I've got some guys that are scattered around. I got a couple of really, really good ones in Texas coming out this year that'll be Division I Power 5 guys. Nobody that's really just no Will Greer or anybody like that that's running for the Heisman or anything, but some quality guys that know how to do it the right way. And it's rare. When you and I were young, man, and this is regardless of whether I'm talking about quarterback play or radio business or whatever business somebody goes into, you can really separate yourself nowadays as a young guy, as a young athlete. You can separate yourself simply by hard. I mean, and it's always been this way. I think we always separated ourselves with hard work, but there was a large amount of people that were willing to work hard and put forth effort. Nowadays, there are fewer and fewer guys that just believe in working hard and yes sir, no sir, and coming to work every day as an everyday man and do. These kids. I got a really good group of guys that just they kill it, man. They're old souls. They come to work. They trust. They work at home, and good things happen for them. So, man, I'm stoked about them all.
Well, I'm happy to hear that a couple of them are at my alma mater, Ouachita Baptist. That makes me a happy man. I can tell you that. Let's talk about LSU. Let's talk about LSU Arkansas, because this is an intriguing matchup for a lot of reasons. Arkansas still, as you mentioned, the regime change, the different offense. They're trying to sort of get to learn exactly what Chad Morris is expecting of them. We've seen some bright spots from them. We've seen some tough times. It's kind of what you expect in a very young coaching career so far for Chad Morris against an LSU team has had its hearts broken a little bit last week. Their spirits were broken a little bit against Alabama with the 29-0 loss, although they played Alabama better than anyone has the rest of the season. I'm curious, when you think about the emotional or attitude level of these two teams relative to each other, what do you think is going to transpire in terms of how these two teams feel about this game?
Well, I tell you, I think it's Arkansas has been playing on a really a different level of motivation, I think, all year long. I think they realized really early, particularly after getting destroyed by North Texas, that it's a little worse than everybody thought. They knew the cupboard was bare, but the depth issues are they're detrimental. It's as bad as I've ever seen. And I'm not talking about from the first stringers to the second stringers. I'm talking about you lose one or two guys. Dre Greenlaw, if he's healthy, that defense has a chance. If he's not, they really, really, really struggle. Offensively, if Ty Story goes down, they're in trouble. If Keem Boyd goes down, they're in trouble. It's not just, one with the starters and plug a guy in. It's 4 or 5, 6 guys that, boy, if one of them go down, Arkansas is in trouble. So I think the motivation for them all year long has had to come from a different place. Hey, this is going to be a long road. Let's really just put our hard hat on and go to work and have blind faith that we're going to turn this corner one day. And in turn, I think a big part of that motivation is who's coming to town. They played their best ball against Alabama, even though the defense started slow and got behind 14-0 within about 30 seconds. But the whole game, 4 quarters wise, they played their best ball against Alabama and against some of the better opponents. So even though they didn't finish against Ole Miss, they had them where they wanted. They just couldn't finish. So they'll be up for LSU. They're just simply because it's LSU. The question is does LSU come to town with that same mentality that they had before when they had a chance to get in the college football playoffs? They can be ranked number 7 right now if they want to, but with that offensive performance against Alabama, they are not a top 10 football team right now. It's the same old great defense, very, very suspect offense without the superstars they've had at running back in the last couple of years. So the question to me is, does LSU bring the confidence, the same confidence level that they had before Alabama? Do they bring that to Fayetteville? I don't see it happening. I think this game is going to end up being a better game than most things.
Talking to Clint Sterner, legendary Arkansas quarterback, who is helping us break down the LSU-Arkansas game. And Clint, I've said today that I think this might be a game where LSU sort of pulls things back a little bit, pulls the reins back. All the talk has been, we need to expand the offense. LSU needs to be better on offense. They need to throw the ball more. They need to get the receivers involved. LSU's always had sort of a dinosaur when it comes to offensive football. I think They've tried that, and I think they've had some success with it, but I believe this is one of those games where Ed Orgeron may just pull the reins back and say, you know what, we're going to try to go do what we did to Georgia and run for nearly 300 yards. I feel like LSU in this game is going to be much more simplistic and basic offensively than they have been all year. What do you think?
Well, I mean, they can't get any more simplistic than they were against Alabama. And to me, they're very vanilla, and I'm not opposed to being very, very vanilla on offense. I mean, I played for Houston Nutt. He's as vanilla as they come,
sure.
And we won a lot of football games. So I'm not opposed to being vanilla, but when you watch LSU, my biggest concern, again, is the quarterback situation. Anytime a quarterback can just transfer in and start immediately like he has the last two quarterbacks have there, you know you've got some issues at the quarterback position. But nonetheless, when you watch Joe Burrow, particularly last week, and Alabama does this to a lot of people, but when you watch him, I was never convinced that he is 100% confident in his ability to throw the football. Now, that may have more to do with what they're doing Monday through Friday at practice, because you watch their film, their spacing sucks, the timing is off. It's really, really not just vanilla, but almost nonchalant with things that really matter. And it's the same old LSU football. It's what I've watched on film for the last 5 or 6 years. It's just nonchalant, bad spacing, and this day and age in football, Pat, you can get away. LSU's going to get away and win 8 or 9 every year just because they're physically better,
sure,
than everybody else. But there's going to come down to 3 or 4 games a year when that attention to detail and that nonchalant mentality is going to bite them in the tail. And unfortunately, or fortunately, if you're an Arkansas fan,
right,
Arkansas has been able to take advantage of that a few times in the last year.
You have played the quarterback position. You understand it. I certainly do not. I never played quarterback unless you count being all-time quarterback for a bunch of 10-year-olds when I was in college. That's as close as I ever came to the quarterback position. I want you to take me inside Joe Burrow's head, and you, I know, have been there as well. You're facing an Alabama front that you cannot have faith that your offensive line can block. And you could tell as the game went on, he got more and more concerned about it. He stopped taking his time in the pocket. He started getting flushed immediately, got, the quote-unquote happy feet. What goes through your mind as a quarterback when you realize your offensive line can't block those guys and you're still trying to find a way to make something happen offensively?
Well, you don't have answers, and that's the problem. It's for a quarterback. For him, he drops back, and if I've got an answer and I know, hey, if I can hold on to this ball for a split second longer then that receiver, then that concept is going to complete, and at least I'm going to know whether it's open or not, whether I can check down. He doesn't have any of that. At one point, they cut the splits to it with a receiver down real close to the tackle and literally run about a 12-yard curl, which makes zero sense. I mean, you're throwing through linebackers, you cut your splits for no reason, and so that's one of those deals where he drops back looking at that curl. It never had a chance, and he has no other option. So it's a panic button that he hits. And that doesn't happen all the time, but they are just so vanilla, and the quarterback just doesn't have a chance. When you face somebody like Alabama, you just do not have a chance. Those guys are so assignment sound that you're not going to beat them with simple route concepts. You're not. They know that defensive front is bringing it, and they know that the quarterback's only chance is the ball to come out early. So they're sitting on routes, they're undercutting routes, and so you got to have more to your plan schematically than just your old vanilla football 101 route. You got to hit the back on the shoot right out of the backfield. You got to find a way to hit the tight end on a quick wheel route. You got to find some different ways to use misdirection. And LSU just doesn't do it. I mean, they've never done it. I don't understand, with all of the great offensive minds and great quarterback play that's across the country in high school football right now, it's hard for me to understand how they can't find a guy that can put it together, teach it to some kids, and then find a quarterback that can confidently sling it around the park. Look, in this league, you don't get the hell beat out of you. I mean, it is what it is. You're going to play Alabama, you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
Go find a guy that doesn't see the run. I mean, Arkansas's got one right now. Ty Story, I respect him more because you watch several games this year, but you watch the Alabama game, he is getting hit in the chin several times, and he stands in there in that third or fourth time that receiver pops open on that wheel route, and it's a touchdown, and you go get 7 points. You know, you got to find a guy like that, and you got to find a coordinator like that. That vanilla stuff, just if you want 8 or 9 wins, stick with it. If you want to try to win a championship in today's game, you better be a little bit more dynamic on offense.
Final question, Clint Sterner, legendary Arkansas quarterback. Tell us how you think this game will go, and give us a prediction. You don't have to give a final score if you want, but just how you think this game will turn out.
Well, I think LSU wins. I'm going to go 28-24. I think it's closer than most people think. I think LSU wins it because, I mean, they're more physical, obviously, than Arkansas is, and the depth issues at Arkansas, that's a problem versus LSU, Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. When you play those big dogs, your depth really gets pushed because they just beat you to death for 4 quarters. In the fourth quarter, you can't keep up. And so I got to go with LSU. But I believe that Arkansas, Coach Morris, will have a really good game plan put together, similar to what he had against Alabama. I believe Arkansas's defense will play better against LSU than they played against Alabama. And so I think it's a little tighter than most think. 28-24 LSU is my call.
Clint Sterner, you are the man. I appreciate your time, my friend. I will tell everyone I played one time. Clint Sterner does great work for charity as a charity golf tournament every year. I played in it one year. The coldest I've ever been playing a golf tournament in my entire life. I had like 7 layers on. I looked like Ralphie from Christmas Story trying to run out there. I just fell over at one point. It was terrific. Clint, thank you so much for your time, brother. I appreciate it.
You bet, man. Thanks for having me, brother.
All right, Clint Sterner, legendary Arkansas quarterback. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the Patrick Netherton Show for the week. Again, I will not be here on Monday. I'll be in the air flying to Provo, Utah. But then we'll be out there for Demons and BYU. I should be back on Tuesday from Provo, and then I should be back. I think we're going to fly in early enough for me to get back into the studio on Wednesday. We'll take a break. Great stuff from Clint Sterner, former Arkansas quarterback. Patrick Netherton Show, 11:30 The Tiger. Wrap up next.
I'm doing all right, getting good grades. The future's so bright. I gotta wear shades. I gotta wear shades. I got a job waiting for my graduation. $50,000 a year, I'll buy a lot of beer. Things are going great, and they're only getting better.
Welcome to Walk-On's Bistro and Bar, where every dish starts from scratch. Fresh ingredients bring our food to life. Mouth-watering cuisine, unique flavors, and we're always more than happy to share our Southern charm and culture. A love of life, family, food, friends, fun, sports, and celebrations. Walk-Ons. It's game day with the taste of Louisiana.
Academic Cooling and Heating, 861-2255, 861-2255. When it comes to making sure your house is cool and comfortable or warm and toasty, whatever it is that you're looking for, AccuTemp can provide it. If you are having difficulty with the temperature in your house, if it's just stinking uncomfortable, boy, howdy. Why suffer through misery? Unless the movie's on, which it's really pretty good. But outside of that misery, come on, don't have to suffer a broken left foot and right foot to realize AccuTemp's the best place to call. 861-2255. This is no James Caan job. I'm not setting any kind of Kathy Bates here for you. It's legit. 861-2255, 861-2255, AccuTemp Cooling and Heating. It won't be long before the calendar flips over to 2019. As a guy who flies by the seat of my pants, that's scary. But for those that do a little planning, that's not so frightening at all, especially if you have as a partner First Choice Personnel. Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Tim. Definitely. Have anyone. Give us a call. We have candidates every day coming in. We have people looking for jobs every day. Give us a call. We have clerical people looking. We have production, manufacturing, assembly, CDL drivers. Give us a call.
Get your 2019 planning started the right way with First Choice Personnel, 797-7810.
It's Macy's Veterans Day